I've been meaning to make this video for a while now. Bruno Fernandes is a player I've been following for a relatively long time. Being Portuguese gave me the pleasure of in a way witnessing his rise since his arrival at Sporting CP. Watching him as he slowly became one of the most impressive attacking midfielders in the world. And in this video, we're gonna look back and see how an amazing player like Bruno managed to stay relatively anonymous to most football fans until the age of 25. He was born in Maia in the district of Porto, around 5 to 10 miles from where I'm attending college. He was part of a middle-class family, having only one sibling who has told the press that as a young kid, Bruno decided he wanted to be a football player and that was all that mattered to him. He had no plan B, because he didn't need one. He knew it was going to happen. His youth level career would be relatively easy to explain. He spent 1 year at Infesta FC, a local club whose youth level squad were actually unisex, meaning that boys and girls played together. Actually, his brother also told the press that back then the coaches had to tell Bruno to calm down because he kept hurting the girls the more he got into the game. At a young age, it was already obvious he wanted to play to win every time. Soon as you might imagine, it was time to get the boy up to another standard of football. After all, it's not like he was afraid of shooting above his weight. In the streets of Maia, he played with his brother's friends despite being much younger. As his brother said, Bruno wasn't afraid of anything, and that's what impressed everyone. At a youth tournament, he got to play against some of the biggest clubs of the district, Boa Vista and FC Porto, whose first team had just won the Champions League, and as you might imagine, by the end of the tournament, both would try to get Bruno to join their youth teams. But there was one problem. As close as Maia was to Porto, neither of his parents had driving licenses, but that would be an easy fix, right? It is common, at least around here, for clubs to have vehicles that can pick up the boys, right? Well, for some reason, FC Porto decided it was too inconvenient for them and lost out on the deal, as Boa Vista promised to give the young boy a ride to every training session. Okay, it's time for a tangent. As an FC Porto fan myself, I am already mad at the fact that we let go of João Felix. Well, then try to imagine how mad I am now that I realize how close we got to sign Bruno, only to let go of him as well over a freaking car ride. Like, God almighty, I'd pay for his Uber myself if I knew the player he would become. But getting back on subject, one thing that I found quite impressive was that Bruno took a while to find his spot on the pitch. During his time at Boa Vista, he played in every position from centre-back to striker, only ever avoiding the wings for some reason. Another thing I saw that I also found really awesome was that still to this day he keeps in contact with his former youth teammates, chatting through a WhatsApp group nearly daily. One of them even told the newspaper that they never thought he would achieve the heights he has, that it was through sheer perseverance that he outdid every expectation. If there ever was something crazy that Bruno did that truly showed how he was willing to do anything for his dream, well, it was his first move in 2012. Bruno was only 17 and as I told you, he didn't care about anything else, not even school, so he just dropped out. Not that he was a bad student or anything, just because he had one offer that in his mind could be a golden ticket towards his dream. He was going by himself to move to Italy and play for Novara, before he was even old enough to drink. Once there, it was hell. Only 1 week into it, he was calling back home saying it was probably for the best to quit. As much as you may believe in yourself, being a 17-year-old in a different country, not having any friends and not knowing the language is very tough for anyone. Luckily, Bruno had a girlfriend at the time, and she believed so much in him that at 16, she decided to go live with him in Italy. Her company would empower Bruno to go back to his best. After only a few weeks at the club, he would get promoted to the first team, getting his senior debut, and over that first season, he would become a frequent substitute. Managing a total of 9 goal contributions as Novara got into the promotion playoffs, though they would not qualify. Over the summer, he would move to the top tier to play for Udinese, and despite the tougher competition, he would manage to start scoring and assisting more frequently, and comparisons would start to ensue, though perhaps as he had not found his trademark style just yet, they would be all over the place, from Pirlo to Pastore to Rui Costa. At Udinese, Bruno made one special friend, Antonio Di Natale. The legendary forward saw something special in Bruno, once saying that he irritated him because he had much more skill than any other of the Udinese players, but still wasn't playing at his fullest potential, and damn, he really was right, wasn't he? Regardless, by his third season at the club, Di Natale had left and Udinese were 1 point off of relegation, but still Bruno was frequently getting subbed off. As much as Udinese expected much more of Bruno, so did Bruno expect more of his club, so he decided to move once again, joining Sampdoria. There he was handed a number 10 shirt, once worn by Roberto Mancini, and got to play with the likes of Antonio Cassano, Duvan Zapata and Lucas Torreira. But still, one problem remained as the club finished in 10th place. Bruno wanted more. The club's lack of ambition rubbed him wrong. He played to win every time and felt he was alone, but that was when things got interesting. Being Portuguese, his name was starting to be brought up frequently in Portugal. After all, he had been nominated the Under-21 national team's captain amongst the likes of Diogo Jota, Renato Sanchez, Ruben Neves, etc. As this went on, many clubs started thinking that perhaps it was time he was rescued from Italy, where his career seemed to have hit a standstill. So, after some negotiations, he joined Sporting CP for 9.7 million euros. At Sporting, he immediately fell into place. Coach Jorge Jesus expected from him exactly what he had been eager to provide his whole career. Very quickly, everyone would realize that this Sporting team should be built around him. Perhaps it was how efficient he seemed, or how focused, or maybe, just maybe, it was the fact he scored 5 goals in his first 4 starts in the league. His future at Sporting looked bright and he kept on shining, winning his first trophy in January in the form of the League Cup. By the end of the league season, despite scoring 16 goals and providing 20 assists, Sporting only managed a 3rd place finish, and after that, all hell broke loose. Portuguese fans can be temperamental to say the very least. It's one of Portuguese football's greatest and worst features depending on how you look at it. And in the 15th of May of 2018, 2 days after Sporting lost to Marítimo in the last match of the season to let the qualification to the Champions League escape in favor of city rivals Benfica, 40 fans, hiding their identities through the use of masks, invaded the Alcochete Academy, where the players were training for the upcoming Portuguese Cup final. It was civil war. Several players, members of the staff and even coach Jorge Jesus were attacked. This would become international news, and the developments of this case were shocking and extremely complex, so at least in this video I'll save you the details, though if you guys would be interested in hearing about it in detail, perhaps I could make a separate video about it. What matters now is that this moment led to the departure of several key players: Gelson Martins to Atlético de Madrid, William Carvalho to Real Betis, Rui Patricio to Wolves, Daniel Podence to Olympiacos, Meri Demiral to Alanyaspor, bet you didn't even know he played there, Rafael Leão to Lille, and Fábio Coentrão back to Real Madrid. The club's top scorers Bruno Fernandes and Bas Dost would both resign unilaterally. Bruno even claimed that after seeing what he saw, he feared his family could be attacked. But in the end, though there were rumors Bruno could join Real Madrid, Man United and even Juventus, he would stay. During summer, despite not even getting 90 minutes of playing time in total, he would get to participate in his first ever international tournament for the Portuguese national team, the 2018 World Cup. His first ever match coincidentally being the one versus Spain, in which Ronaldo got a hat-trick to hold the Spaniards to a draw. Unfortunately, despite a bright start, Portugal would go out in the last 16 match against Uruguay. Before the start of the next season, we would get a sad display as all these players ended up playing the last match of the season, the final of the Portuguese Cup, only to lose it to a bottom half of the league club, Desportivo das Aves. As the new season started, the club was in rebuild and in need of a hero. After all that happened, it could be decades before Sporting got back in shape, but they had Bruno Fernandes, and honestly, that was enough. It seemed he was the type of player that would move mountains just to see his team win. During the first half of the season, Bruno kept impressing, but as he was given the captain's armband in the second half, its numbers got to a whole new level. 22 goals and assists in 16 league matches. The entire league was at his feet, but still Sporting only finished 3rd place. But the league wasn't all there was to win. Sporting would defeat FC Porto twice in each of the domestic cup finals to bring home both trophies. 50 goals and assists in a season should be enough to convince any club to fork out as many millions as required to get a player, but in fact, the back and forth between Bruno and Manchester United would last all summer to no avail, as no agreement would be found. If his first international tournament did not have a nice ending to it, as Bruno got called up for the 2019 Nations League with the Portuguese national team, it would be much more interesting. Though Bruno still struggled with the national team, perhaps getting adjusted to the pressure of playing with his entire country watching, another Ronaldo hat-trick on the first match of the tournament would get Portugal to the final, where a goal by Gonçalo Guedes would make them the winners of the first edition of the Nations League, Bruno's first international trophy. At club level, taking into account that Manchester United failed to sign him, he would stay, and at this point he was just way too good for the Portuguese league. Over that half season domestically, he would get 21 goal contributions in 23 matches. In the Europa League, he was just shockingly consistent, with 8 goal contributions in 5 matches, including 2 goals and 2 assists against PSV, as Sporting needed a win to confirm their qualification to the knockout stage. By the winter market, Manchester United seemed to be impressed enough to quit stalling the negotiations, and the Wonder Boy, now already a 25-year-old man, arrived at Old Trafford for 55 million euros. At this point, Manchester United had already been defeated 8 times in the league and were in a dreadful 7th place, but much like at Sporting, Bruno would change everything in an instant. In the 14 Premier League matches he would play throughout the remainder of the season, Bruno would provide 15 goals and assists, as Manchester United not only secured a place in the Champions League, but managed to get the 3rd place finish. He had been so exceptional that he managed not only to win the Premier League Player of the Month award in his first month at the club, but also to win it again as football came back from the pandemic break, as well as the Premier League Goal of the Month award, becoming the first ever player to win both in the same month. But we can't forget to mention that once in Manchester, he would continue his crazy rampage in the Europa League, getting 4 goal contributions in the 5 matches he would play for Man United in the competition before going out to Sevilla in the semi-finals, totaling out 8 goals and 4 assists in the competition, winning the top scorer award despite being a midfielder. With all of this taken into account, by September, he would win the Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year award for the best Manchester United player of the season, despite having only joined midway through. Just exceptional. And just like this, we arrive at the current season, where Bruno has been on a tear, and despite a weak start going as low as 15th on the table, Manchester United have recently even been in first place for the first time since 2017 under Mourinho. Bruno has won Player of the Month another 2 times, equaling the tally of the likes of Frank Lampard, Cristiano Ronaldo and Thierry Henry, despite having only joined the competition less than a year ago. He has provided 23 goal contributions in the league in 23 matches and 5 in the 6 Champions League matches he played, though United were still unable to get to the round of 16. So far, he is incredibly ranked 2nd for the top scorers of the league, the only midfielder along with Gundogan to be present in the top 15. Even more incredible considering he is 2 assists short of being the top assist maker in the league as well. Bruno is, to say the very least, incredibly efficient. It's rare to find a player who can pull these numbers, especially from midfield. And what's even more special about him is his mentality. He is a natural born leader with a fighting spirit like very few. His passion is enough to motivate the entire team at times, the type of player every locker room benefits from. My interest for this incredible player has grown exponentially over the last years, and I just hope he keeps this up and meets the expectations, so one day I can make a video about how good he was, like I've done for so many legends. I hope one day I'll refer to him as Bruno Fernandes, the captain of the Portuguese national team. They're big boots to fill, but honestly, I never felt this optimistic about replacing the big man himself. So yeah, this was Bruno's career in a video, or at least what we got to see of it so far. Kind of a different video focusing on a player from the present rather than the past, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed regardless. And yeah, tell me what you think about it in the comments. And yeah, if you don't forget to like, subscribe if you're new, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye.